losses or profits? Which of them would you want to hear first? Because a lot of earnings results are out. From MTN down to UPDC, we're also seeing the share price rally from UPDC. And at the same time, Transcorp, the corporate result is out. All these conversations is what we're going to have on this episode of Markets Weekly. All of this is against the backdrop of what is happening in the global economy. $1.5 billion swept off the crypto market. These are the conversations we're going to have on this episode. And this is Markets Weekly, brought to you by Nairametrics. My name is Frank Fagbo. Let's start with what is happening with MTN. MTN Nigeria declares 400 billion naira loss. All of this against the backdrop of even them increasing their revenue. And remember that there've been a lot of conversations around tariff hike. 16% increase as regards the tariff. And this didn't even shield them away from 400 billion naira losses. MTN Nigeria reported a 400.4 billion naira loss after tax in 2024, largely due to foreign exchange losses from the naira devaluation. And then despite this, the company saw revenue growth of 22.4% as regards revenue growth, reaching 3.02 trillion naira. Now, primarily driven by its data and fintech segment. Now, to mitigate its rising operation cost, MTN increases data tariff by 16.7%. 16.7%. That's some decent numbers if you ask me, because despite this, the company saw revenue growth of 22.4%, reaching 3.02 trillion naira. Primarily driven by its data and fintech segment. To mitigate rising operation costs, MTN increases data tariff by 16.7%, a move met with mixed reactions. A lot of Nigerians were not really excited about this because it means that they have to pay more for data and also pay more for calls. 16.7% increase. And MTN Nigeria and other telcos came out and said that it's been a difficult time for them as regards their operations, rising cost of operations coming in from inflation and then exposure to FX losses. And that's why you're seeing a lot of increase as regards their tariff. Now, the big question is, will MTN Nigeria's growth offset its forex challenges, or will the rising costs continue to weigh on the telco's giant profitability? We're going to find out about this when we get their next result. Perhaps, who knows how 2025 is going to play out as regards the telcos. Let's move on to some other stories. Lafarge Africa posts 152 billion naira pre-tax profit. And they are saying that they're going to give out 1 naira 20 kobo as regards dividend. Now, this is what is happening. Lafarge Africa reported 152.2 billion naira pre-tax profit for 2024, representing 17.8% increase from the previous year. Now, the growth was driven by increased cement demand and cost optimization. The company announced its final dividend of 1 naira 20 kobo per share, reinforcing investors' confidence. And with the rising cement prices and government infrastructure project, Lafarge Africa remains well positioned for future growth. Now, the big question is, can Lafarge Africa continue to sustain this growth? Or would inflation and competition in the sector affect their result? We're going to find out about this during their next earnings result. And you sure know that we'll keep you abreast as to how all this unfolds. Transcorp has recorded a 138% pre-tax profit in 2024, and this is they reached 22.6 billion naira. Decent numbers if you ask me. Now, the impressive growth is attributed to increased room occupancy, higher event bookings, and also the strong cost management. The company declared a final dividend of 64 kobo per unit share, a significant boost for its investors. With Nigeria's hospitality industry rebounding, which will Transcorp maintain its profitability streak in the face of rising operation costs? Because if you look at what is happening with inflation and from the macro perspective, a lot of these companies need to a lot of these companies need to make a truckload of money for them to stay afloat because it's quite tough for the business terrain. Let's move on to what is happening with UPDC. Their share price, UPDC share price rally, genuine growth or a speculative bubble? UPDC's share price has soared significantly, prompting debate over whether the rally is backed by strong fundamentals or perhaps it's just a bubble. Some analysts suggest that the share price rise is due to renewed investors' interest or perhaps potential merger and acquisition activity, while others warn that the speculative buying could lead to sharp corrections. Is UPDC's momentum sustainable? How sustainable is this as an investor? Go to our comment section on Nairametrics TV on YouTube and share with us what do you think is causing the UPDC share price rally? Because how sustainable can they maintain this momentum? Remember that they are one of the property investment firms listed on the floor of the NGX. Let's move on to what is happening with PZ Cussons Nigeria. Debt to equity swap. Is this a strategic move or some dilution as regards the market? PZ Cussons Nigeria recently announced a debt to equity swap aimed at improving liquidity and also reducing debt burdens. There's some concerns about shareholders' dilution because deals still persist. As the move increases outstanding shares, potentially weakening existing shareholder stakes, will the restructuring unlock new growth or perhaps will it diminish the shareholders' value? We're going to find out when the next earnings result comes out. Let's move on to what is happening in the global market. We're seeing that Bitcoin drops 25% from its all-time high. Bitcoin has tumbled 25% from its all-time high, sparking a lot of discussions in the crypto sector. A lot of investors, many of them, are not even smiling to the bank. Some of them are crying to the bank because it's a bloodbath, especially this week. We saw Bitcoin drop from $100,000 down to $85,000. And a lot of investors are asking, how deep can this market go? And remember that all of this is against the backdrop of what is happening with Bybit, because $1.5 billion crypto haste, that in itself has the capacity to make the market tank, because a lot of the investors are going to be approaching the market with some fears. Look at what is happening with the fear and greed index, hovering around 15. That number tells us that a lot of investors are scared of approaching the crypto market. FBI accuses North Korea of $1.5 billion crypto haste from Bybit. Now, the FBI has accused North Korea of executing a massive $1.5 billion crypto haste from Bybit, one of the largest haste in the history of the industry. Authorities suspect the stolen funds are being funneled into North Korea's weapon program, raising geopolitical tensions and also increasing scrutiny of security in the crypto industry. This is one of the largest crypto haste that we can think of. Some are calling for a lot more scrutiny as regards security in the crypto industry, and some are calling for complete obliteration of the crypto industry. What side of the party are you pitching your tent? Are you calling for much more regulations, or perhaps you're calling for complete obliteration of the industry? Definitely, time will tell, and we'll keep you abreast. I will keep you abreast as to how all of this unfold. Let's move on to what is happening with the NGX, the Nigeria's equities market. We're seeing that Monday, the all-share index closed at 108,129.97 points, marking a 0.34% decline. Market capitalization settled at 67.38 trillion naira, with 357 million shares traded, valued at 9.21 billion naira. Some of the top gainers and the top losers. Well, let's start with the top gainers. The Ikeja Hotel featured among the top gainers, 12 naira 10 kobo, 10 gains in the market. And then let's start with some of the top gainers. Ikeja Hotel featured among the top gainers, 12 naira 10 kobo. That's how it closed on Monday. 10% rally in the market as regards Ikeja Hotel. And then we're seeing Home Rates PLC also featuring among the top gainers, 40 naira 25 kobo, 9.97% gains in the market. PZ Cussons featured among the top gainers, 29 naira 50 kobo. That's some 9.26% gains in the market. And then we move on to what happened with the top losers. We're seeing NNFM featuring amongst its top losers, 72 naira 55 kobo. That's some 9.99% decline in the market. Unicel featuring amongst its top losers, 10 naira 85 kobo. That's some 9.96% decline in the market. Sovereign Trust Insurance featuring amongst its top losers, 1 naira 20 kobo. That's some 9% decline in the market. And then on Tuesday, we're seeing that the market saw another drop in as regards the all share index, decline by 0.32% in the market, closing at 107,781.61 points, while the market stood at 67. The market capitalization stood at 67.16 trillion naira. A total of 363 million shares traded for the day. What? 10 billion naira. Some of the top losers, top gainers. Let's start with the top gainers. Small Feeds featured among the top gainers. 33 kobo, I beg your pardon. That's some 10% gains in the market. NGX Group featured among the top gainers. Oh my, that's some 32 naira in the market. 9.97% gains in the market. Red Star Express featured amongst the top gainers, 7 naira 33 kobo. That's some 9.57% gains in the market. And then we move on to the top losers, those at the bottom of the pyramid as regards Tuesday's market. Honeywell Floor featured among the top losers, 11 naira 25 kobo. That's some 10% decline in the market. Morrison featured amongst the top losers as well, 3 naira 25 kobo. And that's some 9.97% decline in the market. And then finally, among the top losers, UPL featured amongst its top losers, 4 naira 55 kobo. That's some 9.90% decline in the market. Wednesday, the mid-trading day of the week. Wednesday, we saw that the market, some slight uptick in the market, 0.02% gains in the market, closing at 107,798. It's 798.99 points as regards the all-share index. The market capitalization reached 7.17 trillion naira. The trading volume was 245 million shares traded at midweek, and that was valued at 8 billion naira. Some of the top gainers were seeing Home Rates featured amongst the top gainers as well. This is the second time they are featuring amongst the top gainers. 44 naira 25 kobo. That's some 9.94% gains in the market. AfriPrudence also featured amongst the top gainers for the day, which was Wednesday, 33 naira 30 kobo. That's some 9.9% gains in the market. Kevatin featured amongst the top gainers. It's been a long time I've seen Kevatin featured among the top gainers or the top losers. In the last 3 weeks, they've not featured, and right now we're seeing them featuring amongst the top gainers. That's some 2 naira 45 kobo, 9.87% gains in the market. Some of the top losers were seeing Guineans featuring amongst the top losers, 72 kobo. That's some 10% loss in the market, decline in the market. Unicel featuring amongst its top losers again, 9 naira 80 kobo. That's some 9.68% decline in the market. Tip featuring amongst its top losers for the day. That's Wednesday, 3 naira 67 kobo, and then closing at 8.02% decline in the market. And then we go to the penultimate trading day, which was Thursday. The all-share index slipped by 0.11%, closing at 107,675 points, with market capitalization at 67.10 trillion naira. The trading volume surged to 432 million shares valued at 9.56 billion naira. Owando featured amongst the top gainers, 552 naira 80 kobo. That's the first energy stocks was seen featuring amongst the for the day. That's some 10% gains as regards Owando. PZ Cussons also featuring amongst the top gainers, 32 naira 45 kobo. That's some 10% gains in the market. Honeywell Flour featuring amongst the top gainers for Thursday, 13 naira 3 kobo, and that's some 9.96% gains in the market. Fitsin featuring amongst its top losers for the day. It's a health stocks, if you ask me. 17 naira 90 kobo. That's some 9.6% decline in the market. ETI featured amongst top losers as well for Thursday, 31 naira 40 kobo. That's some 9.51% decline in the market. And then Guaranteed Trust Insurance, 66 kobo, experienced some 8.33% decline in the market. And then we'll move on to what happened on Friday, the last trading day of the week. Markets closed out on a positive note, 0.14% gains in the market, 107,829.39 points. That's how the market closed on Friday, which is the last trading day of the week. Well, based on the numbers, we're seeing 67.19 trillion naira, the market capitalization, and 458.25 million shares traded on the last trading day of the week, and that was valued at 14 billion naira. That's some decent numbers compared to what happened in the previous days. Well, let's take a look at some of the top gainers. Austin Lyles featuring among the top gainers right now, 2 naira 9 kobo. That's some 10% gains in the market as of the last trading day. Then we're seeing the energy sector also featuring amongst the top gainers. Owando, 58 naira 5 kobo. That's some 9.94% gains in the market. Curveton featuring among the top gainers. Remember that they also featured in the preview. They featured this same week one time, and right now we're seeing them featuring again one more time. 2 naira 95 kobo. That's some 9.67% gains in the market. Let's take a look at what happened at the bottom of the chart, the bottom of the pyramid. The top losers of the day. Red Star X also featured among the top losers. 6 naira 60 kobo. That's the price per unit share, 9.96% decline in the market. Learn Africa featuring amongst the top losers, 3 naira 30 kobo, and that's some 9.84% decline in the market. Multiverse featuring amongst the top losers, 9 naira 75 kobo, and that's some 9.72% decline in the market. Some of the most traded stocks, we say, was seeing Zin Bank featuring amongst the most traded stocks. And that's it for this episode of Markets Weekly, where we keep you abreast as to what happens in the market, getting the pulse of the market, and also some corporate results. You saw what happened with MTN releasing their result, 400 billion naira loss, and then some other companies also releasing their result, Transcorp as well. All those details is what we examined on this episode. Just make sure you keep a date with us every week where we have conversations regarding everything happening in the market. My name is Frank Fagball, and this is brought to you by Nairametrics TV. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Cheers.